You could tell that Donald Trump has become really panicked in recent days. How? Because he has ramped up his rhetoric in the most dangerous ways imaginable, and he's throwing things at the wall, desperately hoping that they will stick, and it is just completely vile, and I want to expose it all here, and I also have some ideas as to why Donald Trump is currently freaking out. My name is Brett Meiselas with the MeidasTouch Network. We are well on our way to 3.5 million subscribers, so hit the subscribe button and help us get there. Let's dive into Donald Trump's vile statement that he made yesterday on Twitter. This is one of the most reprehensible messages I have ever seen from a presidential candidate, possibly in history. Donald Trump writes, "We are now known all throughout the world as Occupied America, but to everyone here in Colorado and all across our nation, I make you this vow. November 5th, 2024 will be Liberation Day in America. I will rescue Aurora and every town that has been invaded and conquered, and we will put these vicious and bloodthirsty criminals in jail or kick them the hell out of our country." Donald Trump, if you remember, he had originally spread this lie before the Springfield lie about migrants eating dogs and cats, about Aurora, Colorado, saying that Venezuelan gangs had taken over the entire city and were basically holding the people hostage and the whole place was on lockdown. Completely insane. So what did Trump do this week? Yesterday, he doubled down on it and he went to Aurora, Colorado, and he held an event there where he continued to spread these vile lies and his hate and his xenophobia. That's what this is about. It reminds me of in April 2020 when Donald Trump was sending out these posts like "Liberate Michigan," which ended up causing state capitals to be stormed and ultimately led to the insurrection and potential violence against the governor of Michigan. He is doing the same game right now. And it all stems back to that idea of American carnage that he spoke about as his inauguration, that the country is falling apart and he is the only person who could save it. His targeting of migrants is just especially vile right now, and it seems like it is the one move he has in his tool belt because I think he's seeing the raw data that is coming in from this election. And he's playing a whole host of other games, I think, with the polling. I want to get into that in a second. But first, let me go over some of the raw data of this election right now, and let's start with Pennsylvania. In Pennsylvania, of the vote-by-mail ballots that have been cast, 68.4% of them are from Democrats, 23% from Republicans, and 8.6% other. That makes a Democratic firewall there of 189,406 votes. These are not polls. This is hard data of people actually voting and what their voter affiliations are. In Michigan, we're seeing very strong numbers as well. 543,812 people have already returned their absentee ballots in Michigan. That's nearly 10% of the total votes of 2020 with still 25 days to go. And we are seeing a massive gender gap in Michigan with 11% more women voting as of now. Once again, this is a huge advantage for Vice President Kamala Harris. Another advantage for Vice President Kamala Harris is most of the votes thus far, the top place in the entire state of Michigan that has voted is Detroit by a wide margin. Once again, very good information there for Vice President Kamala Harris. That is a Democratic stronghold. We're seeing a lot of enthusiasm. Meanwhile, when you look at the polls, this is what you see. And this is from Adam Carlson. He analyzes these polls and he says, since September 30th, last Monday, there have been almost as many Republican-aligned polls released as nonpartisan polls, with Democratic-aligned polls basically non-existent. Nonpartisan-aligned polls, 33. Republican-aligned polls, 26. Democratic-aligned polls, 1. Simon Rosenberg echoes that sentiment, saying, of the last 15 general election polls released in Pennsylvania, 12 have right or GOP affiliations. Their campaign to game the polling averages and make it appear like Trump is winning when he isn't has escalated in the past few days. This is the same thing that Simon called out back in 2022 when everybody was predicting a red wave, and he was saying, no, that's not what we're seeing. These seem like a lot of junk polls that are coming in that I've never even heard of. We are seeing that now on an even bigger level. And when you even go more granular on some of these polls, you see a lot of sketchy things. Like there was this poll by Tip for Pennsylvania, and they had among registered voters, Vice President Kamala Harris up 49% to 45%, but among likely voters, they had Donald Trump up somehow 49% to 48%. It turned out, even though 94% of their respondents, Philadelphia poll respondents said they were very or somewhat likely to vote, this This polling organization, which is a Republican polling organization, threw out nearly all of Philadelphia for their likely voter sample, which ended up giving Donald Trump the lead. They screened out 90% of the people in Philadelphia. They did not make it into their likely voter sample. So a lot of sketchy things are happening there that I think we need to take notice of. And I think this is all stems from Donald Trump's panic about the actual hard data of votes coming in for this election.
You may assume that you're getting everything your body needs from your diet or simple green juice, but I recently discovered that most people, including myself, are still short on essential nutrients our bodies need to function at our best. So I've been taking momentous creatine, omega-3, and protein daily to ensure that all of my bases are covered. These three supplements support nearly every aspect of my foundational health, from aiding my cognitive function to reducing inflammation in my muscles and joints, just to name a few. My momentous daily protocol has become a staple in my health routine and makes the perfect addition to other wellness products that are part of my toolkit as well. Look, supplements can feel like a dirty word, and navigating the space can be daunting due to the lack of trust and transparency in the space, but I've come to learn that I can trust Momentous, which makes the decision easier. My trust in Momentous is because of their dedication to working with the best, from their collaboration with experts to their unparalleled commitment to only using the highest quality ingredients. And they invest in third-party testing, holding their products to the same types of standards set by the most demanding organizations in the world, like the NFL and the NBA. They call it the Momentous Standard, which is really the industry's leading standard in quality. Look, there's a reason why the world's best athletes and experts use and help develop Momentous products. So if you're like me and you want to take supplements that are made by and used by the best in the world, go to livemomentous.com/MeidasTouch and use the code MeidasTouch to get up to 20% off your first order. That's livemomentous.com/MeidasTouch and use the code MeidasTouch.
So as I was speaking about earlier, Donald Trump's xenophobia is just ramping up to new heights. And you see this on his social media feed. You see this at his rallies. So on his Truth Social app, he did this post. He wrote, "Open border equals packed classrooms." And he posted this photo of a packed classroom. When you zoom in on this photo, you see very clearly that this is an AI generated image. You could see the images that I'm showing here. You could see the faces of the students are all distorted, not real, look just insane. This is a fake image. This is propaganda, AI being posted by Donald Trump to fearmonger and try to scare people. Just like this image that he posted where he says, "Your new apartment managers if Kamala's reelected." And he has this picture of these guys with tattoos. This is just really the lowest of the low sort of stuff that he could possibly be doing. At his rally in Aurora, he stood in front of a sign that read "End Migrant Crime," and he started ranting and raving about all these TV networks, threatening to prosecute these TV networks and take their broadcast licenses away because they made him upset. CBS has been a recent target for him because they featured Vice President Kamala Harris on 60 Minutes recently, which, by the way, Donald Trump was invited to and at first accepted, and then decided that he would not appear because they said that they would fact check him. So he ran away because he was too afraid to be fact checked. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. So now Donald Trump rants about CBS and says that CBS should be prosecuted for doing this interview with Vice President Kamala Harris. Here's what Donald Trump said at his rally in Aurora yesterday.
So they're asking, but think of this. So CBS gets a license, and the license is based on honesty. I think they have to take their license away. I do.
And one of the things we're finding is that because Vice President Harris is a very good candidate and has very good interviews and does very good town halls, Donald Trump needs to make up a fake person to run against. So he's making up all of these lies, and then he is running against those lies the same way he did with Aurora, the same way he did with Springfield. So Vice President Harris did this interview with Univision. It was a town hall, and it was great. She really connected with the folks in that audience. I thought it was incredibly powerful. And if you could watch the whole thing, go and watch it. They don't let us show the clips on our channel, but if you could find it, go watch it. It was really incredible. So the new MAGA conspiracy theory that Donald Trump is spreading is that Vice President Harris answered all of her questions using a teleprompter. This is debunked. It's a complete and total lie, but that did not stop Donald Trump from spreading this lie in Aurora. Watch this.
Who has no clue what the hell is going on, I have to tell you. Did you see where she did a town hall yesterday and she used a teleprompter? I never saw a you don't use teleprompters We don't use teleprompters, period, pretty much. You don't use them for town halls. Now,
Donald Trump then said he wanted to take us back to 1798 and implement the Aliens Enemy Act to get rid of migrants in our country. Watch this.
To expedite the removals of these savage gangs, and I will invoke the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. Think of that. 1798. This was put there. 1798. That's a long time ago, right? To target and dismantle every migrant criminal network operating on American soil. Who would have ever thought that a president or a future president would ever have to stand here and say such things? Who would think that that's even possible to have to do?
And then there was this moment, which quite frankly, I don't even want to play for you because it's so vile, but I'll explain what happened. While Trump was discussing his whole idea of migrant crime, he said, quote, "We have to live with these animals, but we won't live with them long." Somebody in the crowd then shouted, "Kill them." As Senator Chris Murphy, a Democrat, wrote online, "It's time for everybody to realize he is dead serious. He is full of rage, deeply unstable, and surrounded this time only by creepy, even angrier and unstable sycophants. This won't be America any longer if he wins." You're also seeing all these other schemes being undertaken by Donald Trump. On Twitter, we learned yesterday, the New York Times did this report confirming coordination between the Trump campaign and Elon Musk's Twitter, exposing this gigantic election interference scheme where you have Elon Musk actually throttling anti-Trump content and not allowing it on the platform. By the way, this is exactly what they tried to accuse Democrats of in 2020, even despite the fact that Donald Trump was in office at the time. And Donald Trump had made his own requests, like when Chrissy Teigen called him names on Twitter, he demanded that Twitter take their tweets down. Everything with them is always confession and projection every single time. And that's why you see J.D. Vance out there, like he was in Georgia yesterday, for example, and he was saying the most important person in government in the transition for Donald Trump wouldn't be him, but would be the Attorney General. Why? Because Donald Trump wants these lackeys, he wants these loyalists who are going to do what he says and lock up who he wants. And that's what the AG would do. Watch this.
Person in government after the president, it's not me, and it's not even, it's not the staff members. The most important person in government, I think, after the president for this cycle is going to be the Attorney General, sir. Because we really do have to clean house the broken leadership of the Department of Justice. It's got to work for equal justice under law, and we need a strong, smart, courageous Attorney General. And that's one of the things I help out on the transition, obviously. We're thinking about, I'm a very superstitious guy, so I don't like to think that much about what happens after we win. I'm focused on winning, but you've got to do a little bit of that work beforehand. The most important thing, we're going to an Attorney General who serves the people, and that's one of the best arguments to elect Donald J. Trump. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your...
When you see all this and you see all these actions they're taking, these desperate actions to try to attain power, what we have to do is we need to be organized, right? We need to be very loud voices of pro-democracy, and we need to let our voices heard. That's why I was so comforted to see the Culinary Workers Union Local 226, who assembled the largest canvassing team in Nevada to knock on doors for Kamala Harris for president. Check this out. And I played you Donald Trump's incredibly dangerous, divisive rhetoric. I want to show you what Vice President Kamala Harris was saying at around the same time at a Republicans for Harris event. Just look at the difference between her pitching this whole idea of bipartisanship. Like this, to me, this is what America is about, not what Donald Trump is talking about. Watch this.
And I am going to actually announce, we have press in the room, that I have decided also, not only will I have a Republican in my cabinet, but I'm also going to, I was talking to my team about it, I want to create some structure around the following, which is, I love good ideas. Wherever they come from, I love good ideas. Right? And so part of what I intend to do, Mayor, and put some structure around is creating a bipartisan council of advisors who can then give feedback on policy as we go forward. Because here's the thing I also understand and feel strongly about, In order for us as America to maintain our status as the strongest democracy in the world, we need a healthy two-party system. We have to have a healthy two-party system. We have to. It's in the best interest of all of us. It's in the best interest of all of us. You know, the way that I like to lead, I bring folks in my office all the time, and they know I don't want any yes people. I want people to come in and, first of all, be prepared. Yeah, no time to waste. But come in, and then let's, as I often say, kick the tires on ideas. Because the best ideas will survive those kinds of challenges, and the best ideas will then be most relevant to the American people, most effective to the American people. And so I'm going to create a bipartisan council so we can put some structure around exactly this point and do the work that is important.
It truly is a battle of dark versus light. And on that note, I want to provide a little bit of levity here at the end of this take. I want to show you Tim Walz this week. He posted this video of meeting people on the campaign trail, and this was him interacting with some kids on the campaign trail. I thought this was really heartwarming, so check it out.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Say hi, I'm Tim.
Can you say hi?
Nice to meet you. Have you guys been swimming, or what are you doing here?
We're about to go swimming.
I wish I was.
It's a little warm.
Nice to meet you.
Nice
Hi.
to meet you.
Hey, I got
Thank
something
you.
for you guys. I don't know if you collect cards or not, but I just got these. This is my puppy, Scout, and it talks about him on the back.
I collect cards at school.
You do?
Because
Okay.
we have
And this is
very
Honey,
big
the
because
kitty.
we only have a dog. He's a
I'm telling you,
Dalmatian.
a Dalmatian. I love Dalmatians. So this guy's kind of little of everything, but he's a nice guy. And that little kitty's a new one that we got not too long ago. They call her Honey because her eyes are honey colored. I'm gonna get a photo here. Here we go. There it is.
So I hope you appreciated the way I broke down the various kind of poll schemes that they're doing, the lies that Donald Trump is spreading about migrants, the xenophobia, the AI images, and compare and contrast that to what Governor Tim Walz and Vice President Kamala Harris are doing, because I think the contrast is just so clear there. Those are two very distinct visions of America, and one is completely unrecognizable to the America we all know and love. So we need to continue to get these messages out there far and wide. So here's what you could do. First, make sure you vote. Make sure your friends and family vote. Also, hit subscribe. We are on our way to 3.5 million subscribers. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think of these reports. I always love reading your comments, and I try to respond when I can. Hit the like button, and you know what? I just want to thank you again from the bottom of my heart, because you make this all possible. All right, I'll see you soon.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Meidas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.